In this chapter, we will be working with inequalities. So in section 1, we will be learning about what solutions of inequalities are, and we're going to learn how to graph and write inequalities. So before we get into identifying what are the solutions of inequality and how to graph the inequality and write the inequality, we are going to determine what are the inequalities. And if you remember from middle school, inequalities are these symbols right here. So if you have a variable, this symbol, and if you read it from the variable side x, and you have the number on this side, this symbol is to be read as greater than symbol, greater than. And then this symbol is greater than or equal to when you read it from the variable side. And then if you have a variable here, x, and you have a number here, you read this symbol as x is less than symbol, and this is less than or equal to symbol. And the words like at least and most, you use the greater than or equal to will be at least symbol, and then the word at most will be less than or equal to. So these are the symbols are called inequalities because they do not equal the number. Now you have this one, it has an option to be or equal to, but it is still an inequality because you have that greater than or less than part of that inequality. Now let's talk about the solutions of the inequality. Solutions are any number that would make the inequality true. Okay, so if I had an inequality, x is less than 2, any numbers that would fit this statement and make it true will be a solution to this inequality. So I can say, well, x could be 1, or it could be 2. Could it be 2? No, it cannot, right? So I could say it's 0, or any negative numbers, -1, all the way down to the negative side. Okay, so any numbers that are less than 2, so any of these numbers that will make the statement true are your solutions. Okay, so now once you realize what the solutions are, the best way to tell me what the solution of this inequality will be to graph it. So to make a graph, I'm going to give you a key, and I'm going to call this a graphing key. So in this right here, here's my key. If you have a variable and that is greater than the number, or a variable that is greater than or equal to a number, so if you have a greater or greater than or equal to, you will always shade the right side of that number on a number line. And then if it's less than or equal to, you will shade left of that number that's given. Now on this way, if you look at the key, if you have a greater than or less than symbol, because the x will not equal that number, on your number line where that number is, you will have an open circle above that number. And then if you have a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, because of this extra symbol down here, or equal to, it's going to include that number on that number line, so we're going to make it a closed circle. Okay? So let me give you some examples. Here is example number 1. I want to know, is each of these numbers a solution to this inequality? Okay, so I want to make sure that I plug it in,